Hey guys, it's Andrew Henderson, Nomad Capitalist, nomadcapitalist.com, here on a rainy day in Malaysia. Wanted to give you a quick update on a potential new citizenship by investment program that may be entering the fold in the not too distant future. Talk about what it could mean, talk about some of the details related to that. Now, if you aren't subscribed to our channel here on YouTube, well, why not? But if you haven't subscribed, we have a lot of videos not only on second passports and why having a second passport is important and how to get one, but we also talk a lot about citizenship by investment programs where you make a donation or buy a fixed amount of real estate in a country that has a formal program approved by the Constitution and says anyone who does this, this, and this and passes a background test can become a citizen by investment or an economic citizen. And these programs have really grown in recent years. It was not too long ago that you had basically two. You had St. Kitts and Nevis and you had Dominica in the Caribbean. In the last couple of years, you've had three new entrants in the Caribbean. You've had new entrants in Europe. You've had Turkey. You've had a couple more nebulous entrants. But right now, you've got Antigua, St. Lucia, a process that I've gone through. You have Grenada, which is a very interesting passport for a number of reasons, in addition to St. Kitts and Dominica. So you've got 5 programs in the Caribbean, these island countries that have relatively good Tier B passports. They've got access to countries like the UK and Ireland and the Schengen area. In the case of Grenada, Russia, and China. So they're pretty good passports to have. And it's the first stop for a lot of folks who are looking to have a backup passport, potentially looking to renounce US citizenship, as well as people in developing countries who want options. One country that has not wanted to join the fold, and they've been pretty aggressive in saying that, has been St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, this is an island that's a nice island. It is home to a couple offshore banks, formerly home to Peter Schiff's bank, Euro Pacific Bank, which I was talking about with him in Las Vegas a couple years ago when he spoke at our conference. And so I don't want to get into the middle of any of the St. Vincent politics. Obviously, the people there are going to do what they want to do. But there's a very interesting issue that's been going on, and I talked about it with a colleague of mine last month, and we were talking about the possibility of this happening. The ruling party, the United Labour Party, has for a long time said this is going to take away our birthright. We don't want to put a price on our citizenship. It's not worth the money. We don't want any of the hassles. The opposition party, the New Democratic Party, I believe, has said, listen, our neighbors are making a fortune. He says our entire budget, says St. Kitts makes a lot more than that. Hundreds of millions of dollars they've made. Dominica makes more. Antigua makes almost as much as our whole budget. He says, imagine what we could do. And so there's this conflict between the ruling party and the opposition party, where the ruling party says, we don't want anything to do with it. The opposition party says, well, A, we want the money. We can use the money. The money will help us. B, you guys took a guy who invested in a troubled resort here, and you gave him citizenship by exception, and we don't really know the details of that and what went on and how that worked. And so why not just have a formal program that actually just makes it streamlined? Hey, donate $100,000, get a passport. Buy X amount of real estate, get a passport. Invest in a business, get a passport. Here's where it gets interesting. The gap is closer than it's ever been. In fact, we are as little as 1 seat away from the opposition party actually being able to make the decision. The opposition party is saying if we get in power, we're going to introduce a citizenship by investment program, we're going to put it in the Constitution, and we're going to join the fold of other countries that are our neighbors in making hopefully hundreds of millions of dollars from allowing folks to come here and become a citizen. It is very possible in the coming months or years, especially as there's I believe 1 seat in the parliament that is kind of up for grabs right now. It is possible that there could be some changes in the very near future that could make St. Vincent the 6th program in the Caribbean and about the 9th or 10th program worldwide to offer citizenship. Now, I'm going to make a separate video on the recent price war in the Caribbean. You've seen these programs become a lot more similar in the last year or so. To answer the question, will this drive prices down? No, I don't think so. I think you've got enough demand for for the programs worldwide. And I think that the islands basically agree they don't want to drive prices down anymore. So I think you're looking at a $100,000 donation. But what I think that we've seen, as you've seen more entrance into this space, is more creativity. St. Lucia has had a bond offering. One of the countries had the opportunity to invest in businesses on different levels. And so some of those options may or may not have actually made sense, but at least it increased the number of options beyond the historic make a donation or buy some overpriced real estate. So I think you may see some creativity. It'll be interesting to see if this actually does come to fruition in St. Vincent, what will happen. But I think more and more countries are realizing this is a game that they want to get into. And they're saying, let's make it on the up and up. You know, if we're gonna be able to naturalize certain people, let's just make it a streamlined program and market it and have, you know, the guys like Nomad Capitalist and others in the space just go out and talk about it rather than being under the radar. So I think it'll be interesting to see. There are a couple other countries, Tier B and Tier C countries, that are looking at rolling out citizenship by investment this year. Obviously, St. Vincent would be squarely in the Caribbean space, in the kind of small island, leave me alone, everybody kind of knows what it is space. You've got other CBI programs that I think you're going to see the space start to go into different directions, and they're going to start to be different niches. So certainly St. Vincent is kind of more of what already exists, nothing too crazy. But definitely always good to have options, and it'll be interesting to see what they come out with. If you're not subscribed to our channel, we do a lot of videos on how to get second passports legally, including in countries that most folks aren't talking about. We talk about citizenship by investment programs, which may be the fastest and most efficient way for the 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs that I speak to get a second passport and to expand their options. There's a lot of stuff going on in this space. You'll want to stay abreast of what's going on, so definitely click that subscribe button. And if you need some help with this and you're trying to figure out the best passport for you, you can go to nomadcapitalist.com, and we've got lots of resources there to help you as well.